Right now, the Home Depot has spring deals under $20. So what are you working on? If you're planning on cooking out this season, head to the Home Depot so you can fire up the grill with deals on charcoal. Right now, get two 16-pound bags of Kingsford charcoal for only $17.88. Was $19.98. Don't miss spring deals under $20 now through May 7th at the Home Depot. Subject to availability, valid on select items only.
A science story, huh?
These NYU scientists,
I felt
really
right.
but I was so
And I just thought, well,
I had figured it out
it was that golden moment.
because science was on my side.
Hey everyone, welcome to The Story Clatter, where true personal stories about science help us to discover how weird and wonderful it is to exist in this world and be a human. I'm your host, Misha Gajewski, and today's episode is a bit different from our usual style. So, if you've ever listened to Story Clatter before, you'll know that normally our storytellers share stories about really memorable moments and events in their lives. But what happens if you can't remember? In today's episode, neither of our storytellers can really remember what happens in their lives. Thomas Dixon and Rachel Robinson both have severe memory issues, but despite not being able to remember each other or what they do together, they've formed an unlikely friendship. This story really made me think differently about what it means to be friends and what matters in friendship. Is it shared memories or is it something deeper? I can't wait for y'all to hear this story. Here's Rachel and Thomas. Hey Story Clatter listeners, I've got an unfun fact for you. According to research by the Environmental Working Group, virtually every home in America has contaminants in its tap water. Yeah, I know. Gross. As someone who loves science, I went down a rabbit hole. PFAS, microplastic, arsenic, fluoride, chlorine. It's wild how much can be lurking in what we think is clean water. That's why I've been loving my AquaTrue water filter. AquaTrue uses a 4-stage reverse osmosis process that removes over 84 harmful contaminants, and it's certified to standards by the IAPMO. Plus, it's incredibly easy to use. No plumbing, no installation. It's perfect for renters or even in a college dorm. Just plug it in, pour your tap water in, and boom, clean, pure water in minutes. And if you're like me and drink a lot of tea and coffee, you can actually taste the difference. So, if you want to drink cleaner water, check out AquaTrue. AquaTrue comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee and even makes a great gift. Right now, Story Clatter listeners get 20% off any AquaTrue purifier. Just go to aquatrue.com, that's AQUATRU.com, and use promo code COLLIDER at checkout. That's 20% off any AquaTrue water purifier when you go to aquatrue.com and use promo code COLLIDER.
So back in 2004, I was working as a software engineer for Lockheed Martin. I'd been working there for a few years right out of college. I had just finished grad school. My boyfriend at the time, we were dancing salsa, going to salsa clubs. We actually were in a performance group too. I was living my life. It was awesome. But I was seeing a therapist at the time. And I was going to her for talk therapy just for regular stuff in life at that time. You know, I was in my early 20s. I had just started living on my own. I described to my therapist some of the things that were going on. Just sometimes I was having trouble with my memory. I was losing focus sometimes. And I described for her an episode that I had. While I was at work, one of my coworkers actually found me in the parking lot. I was laying down behind a car. My therapist recommended that I actually see a neurologist, and that's what I did.
I was a research coordinator at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in the Department of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. I was UPenn pre-med taking organic chemistry and physics, and I was going to become ideally a psychiatrist for children. At that time, I was still running pretty regularly. I ran half marathons. I had been visiting my family, and I went for a run on November 22nd, 2010. I'll never remember that day. I mean, there was a specific intersection, but I don't recall it at this moment. I was hit by a car. I've been told that an officer arrived and he asked me my name. I said, Tom Dixon. Do you know where you are? I said, Tom Dixon. And then he had asked, where are you from? And then I said, Tom Dixon. I believe that I had some blood trickling down from my head. They told me to sit down. I told him no. And that's when they called for the ambulance.
We arrived at a diagnosis of epilepsy. So the type of seizures that I have, they call them focal seizures. A lot of things that I would do with seizures earlier on were lip smacking, some moaning, and then after 30 seconds to a minute, the seizure would pass. And for me, afterwards, I'm usually very confused. I might not know where I am, or I might not know who the people are around me. My seizures were starting in my right temporal lobe. What it progressed to was me having a couple dozen seizures a month. Tried some medications, didn't work. Tried another. So after a couple years of living with epilepsy, still continuing to have seizures, my doctor brought up the idea of having brain surgery. And my boyfriend, now fiance at the time, we were in love. We wanted to get married. So we just decided, let's get married. And then we'll kind of venture into the surgery together. And then we decided to have the surgery done in June of 2010. Going into the surgery, I had an expectation that having the surgery was going to stop my seizures. So I had the surgery, and I actually had a seizure the very next day while I was still in the hospital, and I went into a major depression. I felt like I lost my hope.
Ever since November 22nd, 2010, I have lived with severe episodic memory loss and epilepsy, episodic memory loss. It's like how some people feel about TV shows. You know the characters, you know the overall dynamic, yet I don't remember the details of what happened in each episode. I know overall who I am and my life, but the specific details are very hard or impossible to recall.
The way I describe my memory situation to people is whenever a friend starts off by saying, oh, remember when we did this, or we said this, or I said this, or you said this, the chances are I don't remember.
I had to reconstruct my life. I had to give up the career ambition of becoming a psychiatrist. I had to close the door on that potential version of Thomas Dixon. I wanted a memory record that could not be lost, to make sure that no matter what happened to my phone or anything, that my memory would be guaranteed to exist. I used Twitter as a record of memory. So I had no followers, and I just wanted to be able to scroll through my recent Twitter feed to be able to know what had happened in my life at a specific time. Twitter is not intended for the purpose of a separate type of memory. I don't believe you could search your own memory, type your friend's name, and then just find out what happened to them over the years. I needed something that would allow me to do so. I went into an idea incubator space at Temple University, saying that I had an idea for an app. I have no programming experience. So I collaborated with my teammates to come up together with an idea for an app. ME.mory is meant to be a digital memory. It's meant to be a record of events that you could search fully, that can give you a greater feeling of your life, a supplemental memory.
I grew up with a group of friends from my early childhood into my high school years. I like to be around people. I'm a social person. I like to have fun. A couple of years after the surgery, I started to experience seizures that were triggered by music, any type of music. It could be dancing at a wedding reception, hearing music at a funeral, hearing music in a store. I had to make a decision to stop attending things that triggered seizures. We had to stop dancing salsa. We had to stop going out. I had to stop going to people's weddings. It was really hard, just not being able to go to things that my friends go to.
I like to connect with people very much. Post-injury, I was learning how to become a new version of myself socially as a brain injury survivor. I had to be very open about what I was capable of doing as a friend to people. Memory loss is associated with not caring about people, that you were not paying attention when they told you something.
When my epileptologist confirmed that what I was having was seizures, one of the organizations she told me about was the Epilepsy Foundation of Eastern Pennsylvania. They had an organization for young adults living with epilepsy. And that's where I met Tom and his girlfriend at the time. Going into my phone now, and I just opened up my contacts, pulled up Tom Dixon. Here I have a picture of Tom. He's got glasses on and a big smile, which is totally Tom. So I probably asked him, hey, can you take a picture for me so I can remember who you are on my phone?
I was looking for groups to connect with, and through EFEPA, I met Rachel Robinson. All right, so now I'm pulling up ME.mory, and I'm going to go ahead and search for Rachel Robinson. Am I allowed to joke and say that she owes me $500? The first entry that has her full name in it, May 20th, 2016, Rachel Robinson typing here. We're at the EFEPA Young Adult Retreat, and she typed, "It's a beautiful, warm, sunny day. It's been awesome talking to you today. You are a great guy, and I've only known you for a few hours. Smiley face, let's stay in touch." A lot of times, depending on the comfort with the person, I will have them write into ME.mory so that they can note for themselves what they believe is important, what they decide for me to remember.
Tom is a very quirky guy. Tom is a super fun, super warm person, and he is a joke teller. He loves telling jokes. We always wind up laughing. It's nice to have a friend who can really understand some of the challenges that you're going through. Knowing Tom, spending time with Tom, made me feel, not alone and hopeful. He still has his challenges. I still have mine, but we're living.
Let's go ahead and see how my friendship with Rachel has changed over the years. And of course, this is going to pull up a ton of entries. So here's one. At my suggestion, Rachel Robinson watched with me here at home an episode of the 90s animated Batman cartoon series, and I'm glad she enjoyed it too. We are now in Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. That's back in November of 2022. Here she is back in June of 2023. So much I could note here in Florida and Disney World overall. If you had told me that we had gone to Disney together, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I believe that happened. But myself on my own being able to recall that is pretty difficult. It really means a lot to me to have records of memory because the feelings are still there, even if your organic memory is not. I don't feel as empty as I would otherwise, as compromised as I would otherwise. A ME.mory entry is going to be there a year from now, the same that it is today.
I think the reason Tom and I hit it off so well is because we both have partners. So we understand maybe some of the challenges that come up in relationships. He understands how our partners, they love us, but they also worry about us. There is a burden. One kind of story is like if I'm in the shower and let's say I drop the soap, my husband is going to come into the bathroom. Are you okay? I always shout out, I'm okay. I didn't have a seizure. And I think I said that story to Tom before and we vibed. We understood because that's how it is.
I am married. Rachel is married. Being in a couple, it can be pretty sometimes funny, the experiences that you may not recall.
So over time, our friendship has evolved. It's grown. Him and Lindsay, me and Greg, we went to Florida a couple years ago, but I don't remember specifics. I just know that we had a good time.
If I step outside of ME.mory, my sense of Rachel is that we are very buddy-buddy. One of my nicknames for her or for each other is Brain Bud.
Brain bud. I don't know how we got around to this, but he is my brain bud.
Because it's been years now, I expect it to be a very comfortable and relaxing dynamic when we're hanging out together. I feel like she's a great person in my life. When you are seeing somebody again, you already know. Do you do a nod? Do you wave? Do you say like, wow, it's been so long? Do you give that person the hug? So that already exists without a specific memory. It's a cohesive narrative that you've already formed over months or years.
Something that my husband and I do a lot are game nights at home. There's going to be some snacks. There's going to be a lot of laughing. So sometimes we'll invite Tom and his wife, Lindsay, over for game night, and it'll be just the four of us. The last time they came over for game night, I think we played poker. It's just so relaxing having him over. I could see us being lifelong friends. A lot of times when you get together with friends and you reminisce about past experiences, it forms a bond. With me and Tom, it's not what our friendship is based on. I think it's like just the connection that we have. It's strengthened by the things we do together through our shared time together, our experiences, whether we can remember them or not.
Right now, I am searching for my most recent entry regarding game night. February 28th of this year. And it was Texas Hold'em Poker. My wife won. So congratulations. Maybe I can see an entry where she doesn't win. The games are a lot of times are going to be secondary, you know? It's also an excuse to laugh as much as you can, say jokes that are corny. Life with disabilities can take various forms, and people follow your lead a lot when it comes to disabilities. You set the parameters. What I figured out after my accident is that people don't really care so much about you remembering the individual things that happen if you express just how much you care, if you help them to feel consistently warm, consistently good. What people are looking for in friendships is comfort, support, recognition. If you put in the effort to reinforce a relationship, people are very understanding. They will come to you.
That was Rachel and Thomas. If you'd like to learn more about them or Tom's app ME.mory, visit our website storyclatter.org. Being a storyteller is just one way to make Storyclatter happen, but if sharing your story isn't your jam, becoming a Storyclatter donor might be more up your alley. Right now, the voices of scientists and science communicators need to be heard more than ever. At Storyclatter, we believe that personal stories can cut through the noise, connecting people to the human side of science, building trust, and making complex issues real. But we can't do this work without you. Storyclatter donors play an essential role in our ability to bring you this podcast, share these stories, and foster conversations that matter. If you believe in the power of science storytelling, please donate to the Storyclatter at storyclatter.org/donate. The most popular level is $10 a month, and you can make your tax-deductible donation at storycladder.org/donate. But really, any level makes a difference, and we're so grateful to everyone who supports Story Clatter. Also, if you want more Story Clatter content, check out our website or follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. If you want to come to one of our shows, start your own Story Clatter show in your community, or even learn how to tell your own science story, you can learn all about that on our website too. This podcast is produced by me, Misha Gajewski, along with Jen Chen, Nikisha Roberts-Washington, and Aaron Barker, Executive Director and co-founder of The Story Clatter. The story featured in today's episode was produced by Justin Cremon, a writer and radio reporter who produces audio stories for NPR, Snap Judgment, The Pulse, and others. Special thanks goes out to the Story Clatter's board and team. Also, a big thanks to Justin for pitching us this incredible story and for First Person Arts in Philadelphia for first featuring Thomas's story. Our theme music is by Ghost, and next week I'll be back with stories in honor of Mother's Day. They're such beautiful stories. You won't want to miss them. Until next time, thanks so much for listening.